Welcome back to Mystery Recaps. Today, I will show you the science fiction horror film SPLICE. There are spoilers ahead. Watch out and be cautious. Two scientists, Clive, Nikolai, and Elsa Karst are genetic engineering specialists who work for the Newstead Company. The company conducts numerous experiments that focus on splicing the DNA of various animals in order to create new life forms for medical purposes. After numerous failed attempts, Clive and Elsa finally accomplish their mission. The pair observes their creations and names the two monstrous creatures, Fred and Ginger. The purpose of the two organisms was to produce medicinal proteins for livestock. Upon observing the astounding results and potential benefits of their experiment, Clive and Elsa anticipate that they will be able to apply the same gene, splicing technique they used on Fred, to humans. The two scientists predict that, if correctly applied, the technique could be the miracle cure for numerous incurable diseases, including Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. Their employers rejected their suggestion. Joan Court and William Barlow strictly prohibited the young scientists from conducting human experimentation, as doing so could result in negative publicity for the company. Clive and Elsa made the decision to conduct their experiments in secret. After several unsuccessful attempts, the two succeeded in creating a human, animal chimera. Elsa decides to bring the genetic material to the birthing room in order to initiate the development of their creation as a result of their scientific breakthrough. Clive is opposed to the idea, whereas Elsa is eager to continue the experiment as it may provide a cure for numerous human diseases. She convinces Clive by assuring him that the creature will be annihilated before it reaches maturity, so no one will ever know. Clive initiates the machine in the subsequent conception sequence. Clive is speaking with one of his co-workers. The young man inquires as to what he and Elsa are working on. However, Clive is able to evade the question. In the meantime, Elsa is observed examining the incubator as the creature's heartbeat suddenly stops. As soon as she notices the return of the heartbeat, she is immediately relieved. Elsa and Clive are lounging in their flat after finishing work and discussing moving to a larger flat. The conversation continues to the topic of having children, which causes Elsa to become visibly anxious. The alarm on Clive's phone interrupts their conversation. They immediately rushed to the laboratory. The fetus is apparently ready to be born. Despite the creature's impending birth being months away, Clive and Elsa's efforts to fix the machine and prevent its birth were unsuccessful. Elsa's attempts to give birth fail, and she injures her hand in the process. Before the creature can escape and cause further damage, Clive manages to trap it beneath a plastic container. Elsa is convulsing and losing consciousness due to her wound, which is likely infected by the creature's poison. He rushes to her aid. Clive injects her with medication, and she returns to her normal state. Elsa and Clive make their way back to their flat. Both Clive and Elsa are profoundly shaken by the birth, with Clive expressing that they should destroy their creation. Elsa informs Clive that they can still learn a great deal from this situation, but Clive is determined to destroy the creature. They will soon head to the laboratory to kill the creature. The incubator contained what appears to be a dead body. Elsa discovers, upon further inspection, that while there is a mass of dead tissue in the incubator, the creature's entire body is missing. Almost immediately, she hears the sound of small, quick footsteps approaching her. She is imprinted by a small creature resembling a chicken. Elsa and Clive manage to incapacitate the creature and begin studying it, only to discover that it exudes venom despite lacking a gene for predation. As the life of the creature continues, it is revealed that the creature is rapidly aging due to faulty DNA. Later that evening, Clive meets with Barlow, who informs him that if they are unable to sell the medicinal proteins from Ginger and Fred, Clive and Elsa will be to blame. A month has passed, and based on its behavior, the creature has grown to be very large. It can be concluded that its intelligence is comparable to that of a human toddler. Elsa develops a close relationship with the creature, treating it more like a child than a scientific experiment. She goes as far as releasing the creature from its containment area and removing the cover from its stinger to demonstrate her lack of concern. Elsa decided to name the creature Dren, which is nerd spelt backwards, after the creature spells nerds out of toys after seeing the company's name on her shirt. The manner in which Elsa treats children causes a dispute between Elsa and Clive. Apparently, their experiment is at risk of being discovered because their lab is slated for renovation, which increases the likelihood that someone will observe their forbidden experiment. Gavin, Clive's lab brother and fellow college student, then sneaks into the room to eavesdrop on their conversation, but is terrified to encounter Dren. In order to maintain Dren's anonymity, he flees the scene swiftly. Clive and Elsa decide to smuggle Dren out in a card box and conceal her in a secure storage area. To their dismay, Dren has an extremely high fever, which causes Elsa great concern. Elsa and Clive immediately administered a cold water bath to Dren to reduce her fever. When Clive holds Dren underwater, the creature's questionable lungs become evident. Elsa takes care of Dren that night, giving it a Barbie doll she had to hide from her mother as a child. Dren has become significantly larger and more human, like with the passage of time, as Elsa and Clive joke around and end up having sexual relations on the couch. Dren can be seen in the next room, secretly observing them. The following day, Clive and Elsa reveal to the public their original hybrid creations, Fred and Ginger. Unfortunately, the presentation goes horribly awry when the two monsters become incredibly violent and kill each other. Clive and Elsa discovered Ginger had transformed into a male after analyzing the situation. The reason she did so remained unchanged. Elsa and Clive decide to relocate Dren to the old farmhouse owned by Elsa's mother. Once they reach the farm, Dren departs in search of food. After preparing the barn's changing area, Elsa and Clive make their way to the farm. Upon opening the door, they are greeted by a filthy room containing a bed, a single chair, and a bucket, indicating that Elsa was raised in an abusive environment. In the meantime, Dren is unhappy with her life on the farm. With her creators constantly away at work and only a cat to keep her company, Dren becomes rebellious, which Clive accepts well, as opposed to Elsa, who is deeply disturbed by this. Elsa decides to stay at home and keep Dren company to keep him at bay and make him happy. Elsa lavishes her with cosmetics and jewelry, which Elsa's mother forbade when Elsa was a child. When Elsa examines the makeup table, she discovers numerous drawings of Clive, but none of herself. Dren becomes anxious when she sees that Elsa is okay and runs to her cat, which Elsa takes away, explaining that it is a part of growing up that one cannot always get what one wants. When Clive returns home, he discovers Dren sad and tries to cheer her up by playing music and dancing with her. Clive develops forbidden feelings for Dren and soon realizes that Elsa used portions of her DNA in the creation of Dren. He will confront Elsa. As a result of the conflict, Clive leaves after Clive has left. Elsa decides to return the cat she took from Dren, but Dren kills it, prompting Elsa to slap him in the face. Dren pounces on Elsa to prevent her from stealing the barn keys and escaping, but is knocked unconscious and strapped to an operating table. Elsa begins to remove Diane's jewelry and clothing and removes her stinger due to her aggressive behavior. Elsa returns the stinger to the lab upon Clive's arrival in order to locate the proteins and synthesize them for her work. The next day, Clive goes to the farm to find Elsa, but is met by Dren, who is also searching for Elsa. Attempting to seduce him, Clive initially rejects Doran's advances, but eventually gives in. The two have sexual relations during the act. Dren has regenerated her previously amputated stinger onto Clive's because Elsa walks in on them and flees in disgust. Elsa and Clive argue about Elsa's views on Dren as they drive to their old flat in Clive's car with Elsa in the passenger seat. It is revealed that also desired to create a child rather than have one naturally because she desperately desired control over the child, a need likely stemming from her abusive childhood. When they return to the farmhouse after their argument, they discover Dream dead in her bed. While relocating Dreams, they bury Doran and burn her clothes. Elsa discovers drawings. She drew portraits of herself. There, Gavin and Barlow will arrive. After discovering Elsa and Clive's secret, they cannot engage in conversation. Drain suddenly appears, now appearing more masculine, indicating that Dren has, like Ginger, changed gender. Dren becomes belligerent, killing Barlow and Gavin and then pouncing on Clive. Elsa manages to escape into the woods, but she doesn't get far because Dren quickly catches up to her. Dren pounces on Elsa, presses her to the ground, and forces her to engage in sexual activity. But Clive stops him by inhaling him with a branch from behind. Dren attacks Clive, prompting Elsa to kill Dragon for good by slamming a rock on the creature's head. As a result of all of this, Elsa is still an employee of Newstead and has been granted permission to continue her investigation into the proteins found in Adrienne's body. She is visibly pregnant when she stands, which suggests that she may be carrying a transgender child. Be sure to subscribe and enable notifications so you can view similar videos. Thank you for viewing.